A daring rescue. In a distant corner of the galaxy, on the gleaming capital world of the Zephyrian Empire, Princess Zora stood on a balcony overlooking the bustling cityscape. Born into a society that prized conformity and tradition above all else, Zora had always been an outsider, a rebellious spirit who dared to question the status quo. As the youngest daughter of the Zephyrian royal family, Zora's duty was clear: to marry strategically and help maintain her people's alliances. However, Zora dreamed of a different path, one where she could use her position to push for change and open her society to new ideas. Little did Zora know that her life was about to take a drastic turn. During a diplomatic mission to the nearby Eldorian Confederation, a rival faction of religious zealots known as the Oriented Brotherhood launched a surprise attack on her convoy. In the chaos of the ambush, Zora was separated from her guards and kidnapped by the Oriented raiders. Light years away, on the Earth Defense Coalition's military outpost Sigma-9, Security Officer Liam Hawkins monitored the situation with growing concern. The 28-year-old human had spent the past 5 years serving on the frontiers of Earth's expanding sphere of influence, but he had never seen tensions escalate so quickly between alien factions. As reports of Princess Zora's abduction filtered through, Liam found himself grappling with a decision. The Earth Defense Coalition had strict orders not to interfere in alien political disputes, but Liam's gut told him that this was bigger than politics. If the Oriented Brotherhood was willing to kidnap a royal princess, there was no telling what else they might do. Making up his mind, Liam gathered his gear and set out to stage a daring solo rescue mission. He knew he would be disobeying direct orders, but he couldn't shake the feeling that this was the right thing to do. Using his knowledge of the local star systems and his training in covert ops, Liam plotted a course to the Oriented stronghold where he believed Zora was being held. Infiltrating the heavily guarded compound was no easy task, but Liam's unorthodox tactics and quick thinking allowed him to slip past the Oriented defenses. As he made his way deeper into the stronghold, Liam's heart raced with adrenaline and uncertainty. He knew he was risking everything on this unauthorized mission. Finally, Liam located the cell where Princess Zora was being held. As he burned through the lock with his plasma cutter, he could hear shouts of alarm echoing through the corridors. He knew he only had moments before the Oriented guards closed in on their location. The door to the cell swung open, revealing the captive princess. Zora recoiled at the sight of the unfamiliar human, her violet eyes wide with surprise and suspicion. "Who are you?" she demanded, her voice sharp with distrust. "Liam Hawkins, Earth Defense Coalition." Liam replied quickly. "I'm here to rescue you, Your Highness. We need to go now." Zora hesitated for a split second, torn between her doubts and her desperate desire for freedom. Then, as the sound of approaching footsteps grew louder, she made her decision. Together, the unlikely allies raced through the winding corridors of the stronghold, Liam's pulse rifle flaring as he fought off the pursuing Oriented troops. With every twist and turn, Zora and Liam plunged deeper into the unknown, the first human-Zephyrian partnership forged in the heat of battle. As they finally burst out of the compound and into the alien night, Liam and Zora knew that their daring escape was only the beginning. The quest for survival and answers had just begun, and the secrets they would uncover would change the course of galactic history forever. An uneasy alliance. The scorching heat of the alien sun beat down on Liam and Zora as they trekked through the rugged wilderness of the uncharted planet. Their escape pod had crash-landed here after a dramatic flight from the Oriented stronghold, leaving them stranded without supplies or communication. As they navigated the treacherous terrain, an uneasy tension hung between the human soldier and the alien princess. Zora, still reeling from her abduction and the sudden turn of events, eyed Liam with a mix of gratitude and wariness. "Why did you risk your life to save me?" she asked, her melodic voice tinged with suspicion. "What does Earth have to gain from this?" Liam, his gaze scanning the horizon for potential threats, considered his answer carefully. "Honestly, Your Highness, I'm not entirely sure," he admitted. "I just knew I couldn't stand by and do nothing while the Oriented Brotherhood committed such an atrocity." Zara fell silent, mulling over his words as they continued their arduous journey. As the sun began to set, painting the alien landscape in hues of crimson and gold, Liam called for a rest. The two unlikely companions found shelter in a rocky outcropping and began to set up camp. As Liam skillfully constructed a fire using his survival training, Zara watched him with a mix of fascination and frustration. "Your people are so different from mine," she mused aloud. "You value individual action and innovation, while we prize conformity and tradition above all else." Liam looked up from his work, meeting Zora's gaze with a curious expression. "Is that why you're considered a rebel among your people?" he asked gently. Zara sighed, her delicate features etched with a deep sense of longing. "I've always dreamed of a different path for the Zephyrian Empire," she confessed. "One where we embrace change and open ourselves to new ideas and alliances. But my family and the council, they cling to the old ways, fearful of anything that might disrupt the status quo." As the night deepened and the stars emerged in the alien sky, Liam and Zara continued to share stories of their vastly different worlds. Liam spoke of Earth's tumultuous history, the wars and struggles that had ultimately forged a united human front, while Zara painted a picture of a society steeped in ancient traditions and rigid hierarchies. Despite their differences, a tentative bond began to form between the princess and the soldier, a connection born of shared adversity and a growing respect for each other's strengths. However, their respite was short-lived. As dawn broke over the rugged landscape, the sound of approaching ships shattered the tranquility of the wilderness. Liam, his senses honed by years of military training, quickly realized the gravity of the situation. "We've got company," he warned Zora, his hand already reaching for his pulse rifle. "Looks like both your people and the Oriented Brotherhood have sent bounty hunters to track us down." Zara, her face set with determination, nodded grimly. "We can't let them capture us," she declared. "The secrets I carry are too valuable, and I fear what the Oriented Brotherhood might do with them." As the bounty hunters closed in on their location, Liam and Zara prepared to fight for their lives. Liam's expert marksmanship and tactical prowess combined with Zora's knowledge of alien technology to give them a fighting chance against their pursuers. But just when it seemed they might gain the upper hand, a new threat emerged from the wilderness, a monstrous creature, all fangs and claws and savage fury. The beast, enraged by the commotion, attacked both the bounty hunters and the unlikely allies with terrifying ferocity. In that moment, faced with an overwhelming adversary, Liam and Zara realized that their survival depended on more than just individual skill. It would take the strength of their newfound partnership, the power of human ingenuity and alien wisdom working in tandem, to overcome the challenges that lay ahead. As they stood back to back, pulse rifle and energy blaster at the ready, Liam and Zara prepared to confront the monster and the secrets that awaited them in the depths of the alien wilds. Secrets uncovered, battered and bruised, Liam and Zara emerged from their harrowing battle with the alien beast, the carcasses of the bounty hunters littering the blood-stained ground around them. As the adrenaline of the fight ebbed away, the weight of their situation settled upon them like a suffocating blanket. "We can't stay here," Liam panted, his armor scorched and dented from the creature's vicious attacks. "Those bounty hunters were just the first wave. More will come, and we're in no shape to keep fighting." Zara, her once pristine royal garments now tattered and stained, nodded in agreement. "We need to find a way off this planet, but first, we must recover the artifact I was carrying when the Oriented Brotherhood captured me." Liam's brow furrowed in confusion. "Artifact? What artifact?" Zara hesitated, her violet eyes searching Liam's face for any sign of deceit. Finally, she made the decision to trust her unlikely ally. "It's an ancient relic of my people," she explained, her voice low and urgent. a data storage device that contains lost knowledge from the dawn of our civilization. If the Oriented Brotherhood were to unlock its secrets, they could gain an unimaginable advantage over the rest of the galaxy. Liam's eyes widened as he grasped the gravity of the situation. Where is this artifact now? Hidden, Zara replied cryptically. In a temple not far from here, a place long forgotten by my people. We must retrieve it before our enemies do. With a newfound sense of purpose, Liam and Zara set out towards the ancient temple, their steps heavy with fatigue and determination. As they navigated the treacherous jungle, Zara revealed more about the artifact and its significance. Legend has it that the artifact contains the collective wisdom of our ancestors, she explained, ducking under a low-hanging vine. Advanced technologies, forgotten histories, and perhaps even the key to unlocking abilities we can only dream of. Liam listened intently, his mind racing with the implications of such knowledge falling into the wrong hands. And you think the Oriented Brotherhood knows about this artifact? Zara nodded grimly. I fear they may have been planning to capture me for some time, hoping to use me to access the temple and the artifact within. As they approached the ancient structure, its weathered stone walls overgrown with dense foliage, an eerie silence settled over the jungle. Liam and Zara exchanged a wary glance before cautiously entering the temple, their weapons at the ready. Inside, the air was thick with the musty scent of age and decay. Intricate carvings adorned the walls, depicting scenes from a long-forgotten history. Zara, her eyes wide with wonder, ran her fingers over the ancient symbols. I can read these, she whispered, her voice echoing in the cavernous chamber. They speak of a great power, a force that could reshape the very fabric of the universe. As they ventured deeper into the temple, Liam's unease grew. Something about this place felt wrong, as if they were being watched by unseen eyes. Suddenly, a low rumble filled the air, and the ground beneath their feet began to tremble. Zara, watch out, Liam cried, tackling the princess to the ground as a massive stone slab slammed down from the ceiling, barely missing them both. As they picked themselves up, shaken but unharmed, the true nature of the temple began to reveal itself. The ancient structure was not just a repository of knowledge, but a sophisticated defense system designed to protect the artifact from falling into the wrong hands. Zara, her face set with grim determination, turned to Liam. We must press on, she insisted. The artifact is close. I can feel it. Navigating through a series of deadly traps and puzzles, Liam and Zara finally reached the heart of the temple. There, hovering in a beam of shimmering light, was the artifact, a small crystalline object that pulsed with an otherworldly energy. As Zara reached out to claim the artifact, a sudden realization struck Liam like a thunderbolt. The temple's defenses, the bounty hunters, the Oriented Brotherhood's relentless pursuit. It all made sense now. Zara, wait, he cried out, his voice laced with urgency. This is a trap. The artifact, it's not just a repository of knowledge. It's a weapon, and your own family has been manipulating events to get their hands on it. Zara froze, her hand mere inches from the glowing crystal. As the truth of Liam's words sank in, a look of horror and betrayal spread across her face. The artifact's revelation had shattered everything she thought she knew, and now the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. Against all odds, the weight of Liam's revelation hung heavy in the air as Zara struggled to process the betrayal of her own family. The temple walls seemed to close in around them, the once majestic carvings now taking on a sinister aspect. I can't believe it, Zara whispered, her voice trembling with a mix of anger and despair. My own family, plotting against me, against our people. Liam placed a comforting hand on her shoulder, his eyes filled with empathy. I'm sorry, Zara, but we can't let them get their hands on this weapon. We have to keep it out of the wrong hands, no matter the cost. Zara nodded, steeling herself against the pain of betrayal. You're right. We must protect the galaxy from this power, even if it means going against my own blood. As they prepared to leave the temple, A sudden commotion outside caught their attention. The sound of ships landing, the crunch of boots on jungle terrain. Their enemies had found them. Liam and Zara exchanged a determined look, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. With the artifact secured in a hidden pocket of Zora's robes, they emerged from the temple, weapons drawn. The scene that greeted them was one of chaos. The Oriented Brotherhood, the Zephyrian Royal Guard, and the bounty hunters had all converged on the temple, each faction driven by their own agenda. Laser fire scorched the air as the groups clashed, the jungle erupting into a battleground. Liam and Zara fought their way through the fray, their newfound bond giving them strength. Liam's combat training and Zara's knowledge of Zephyrian technology made them a formidable team, working in perfect sync to outmaneuver their opponents. But the sheer number of enemies was overwhelming. As they made their desperate escape, Liam and Zara found themselves cut off from their ship, forced to flee deeper into the jungle. The sound of pursuit followed close behind as they raced through the dense foliage, ducking under vines and leaping over fallen logs. Suddenly, a searing pain ripped through Liam's shoulder as a laser blast found its mark. He stumbled, his vision blurring from the agony. Zara, seeing her companion's distress, made a split-second decision. Using her knowledge of the jungle's layout, she led them to a hidden cave system, helping Liam navigate the treacherous terrain. Inside the caves, they found a moment's respite, but Liam's injury was severe. Zara, drawing upon her understanding of Zephyrian medicine, worked to stem the bleeding and patch the wound. As she tended to him, Liam couldn't help but marvel at the strength and resilience of the alien princess. Despite the betrayal of her family and the weight of their situation, she remained determined, never losing sight of their goal. In the dim light of the cave, Liam and Zara found solace in each other's presence. The bond between them had grown deeper, forged in the crucible of shared adversity. As they leaned on each other for support, a spark of something more than friendship began to flicker between them. But their respite was short-lived. The sound of footsteps echoing through the caves snapped them back to reality. The Oriented Brotherhood had tracked them down, and they were closing in fast. Liam, his injury hampering his movement, knew they couldn't outrun their pursuers. With a heavy heart, he turned to Zara. "You have to go on without me," he urged, pressing the artifact into her hands. "Get this to safety. Find a way to expose the truth." Zara, tears glistening in her violet eyes, shook her head vehemently. "No, I won't leave you behind. We started this together, and we'll finish it together." With a fierce determination, Zara helped Liam to his feet. Together, they ventured deeper into the cave system, their path lit by the eerie glow of bioluminescent fungi. As they navigated the twisting passages, they stumbled upon an unexpected discovery: a hidden mercenary outpost, long abandoned but still stocked with supplies and communication equipment. Liam, his tactical mind already formulating a plan, turned to Zara with a glint of hope in his eyes. "We can use this," he said, gesturing to the outpost. "We can send out a distress signal, call for reinforcements. It's a long shot, but it might be our only chance." Zara, catching on to Liam's plan, nodded in agreement. Together, they set to work, using the outpost's equipment to broadcast their location and the dire nature of their situation. As the distress signal pulsed out into the vastness of space, Liam and Zara prepared for the final confrontation. They knew that the fate of the galaxy and the future of human-Zephyrian relations hung in the balance. With the strength of their bond and the power of the truth on their side, they steeled themselves for the battles to come. The human difference. The abandoned mercenary outpost hummed with a nervous energy as Liam and Zara worked frantically to fortify their position. They knew that their distress signal would not only attract potential allies, but also draw the attention of their enemies. Liam, his injury bandaged but still painful, focused on setting up defensive perimeters and booby traps using the outpost's limited resources. Zara, meanwhile, delved into the base's computer systems, trying to decrypt any information that could give them an advantage. As they labored, the weight of their situation bore down upon them. The artifact, the key to unimaginable power, sat heavy in Zora's pocket, a constant reminder of the stakes they faced. Suddenly, the outpost's sensors lit up with warnings. Ships were entering the planet's atmosphere, and they were closing in fast. Liam and Zara exchanged a tense look, knowing that the final showdown was upon them. The first to arrive were the Earth Defense Coalition forces, responding to Liam's distress signal. The sight of human ships descending from the sky filled Liam with a sense of relief and pride. But that relief was short-lived, as the Zephyrian Royal Guard and the Oriented Brotherhood followed close behind. As the opposing forces gathered outside the outpost, a tense standoff ensued. The Earth Defense Coalition, sympathetic to Liam and Zara's cause, attempted to negotiate a peaceful resolution. But the Zephyrian Royal Guard, under orders from Zara's treacherous family, demanded the return of both the princess and the artifact. The Oriented Brotherhood, meanwhile, cared little for diplomacy. They launched a sudden and brutal attack, seeking to claim the artifact for themselves and eliminate all who stood in their way. Chaos erupted as the factions clashed, laser fire and explosions rocking the jungle around the outpost. Liam and Zara, caught in the middle of the conflict, fought side by side, their bond stronger than ever in the face of overwhelming odds. But as the battle raged on, it became clear that they were outmatched. The Oriented Brotherhood's superior numbers and advanced weaponry pushed the Earth Defense Coalition and the Zephyrian Royal Guard back, forcing them to take cover within the outpost itself. Liam, his tactical mind racing, knew that they needed a game-changer. With a heavy heart, he turned to Zara, a plan forming in his mind. "Zara," he said, his voice low and urgent, "I need you to do something for me. I need you to use the artifact." Zara's eyes widened in shock and fear. "Liam, no, we don't know what it could do. The power it holds." Liam gripped her shoulders, his gaze intense. "I know, but it's our only chance. You have to trust me. Trust in the bond we've forged, in the strength of what we've built together." Zara, seeing the faith and determination in Liam's eyes, nodded slowly. With trembling hands, she reached into her pocket and withdrew the artifact. As she held the glowing crystal aloft, Liam turned to face the Oriented Brotherhood, a look of grim determination on his face. With a roar of defiance, he charged towards the enemy lines, drawing their fire and creating a diversion for Zara. Zara, her heart pounding in her chest, focused her mind on the artifact. She reached out with her thoughts, seeking to understand its power, to harness it for the greater good. And then something extraordinary happened. The artifact began to pulse with a blinding light, engulfing Zara in its radiance. The power of the ancient Zephyrian technology surged through her, amplifying her natural abilities to unprecedented levels. With a wave of her hand, Zara unleashed a shockwave of energy that rippled across the battlefield. The Oriented Brotherhood's weapons crumbled to dust, their ships falling from the sky like wounded birds. The Zephyrian Royal Guard, seeing the power of the artifact in Zara's hands, fell to their knees in awe and reverence. They realized, in that moment, the true strength of their princess and the folly of their betrayal. As the dust settled, Liam limped back to Zara's side, his wounds forgotten in the face of their triumph. The Earth Defense Coalition forces, witnessing the incredible display of power and unity, lowered their weapons, recognizing the potential for a new era of cooperation and understanding. In the aftermath of the battle, Liam and Zara stood tall, the artifact safely in their possession, and the truth of their story spreading like wildfire. The Zephyrian Empire, shaken by the revelations of their royal family's treachery, embraced Zara as a symbol of change and hope. And as for Liam, he found himself hailed as a hero, a shining example of the human spirit and the power of unity in the face of adversity. Together, Liam and Zara looked to the future, ready to build a new era of cooperation between their peoples. They knew that the road ahead would be long and fraught with challenges, but they also knew that they had the strength, the wisdom, and the bond of their partnership to guide them. The human difference, the resilience and adaptability that had brought them together, would be the key to unlocking a brighter tomorrow for the galaxy. And with Liam and Zara leading the way, anything was possible.